it helps us understand a little bit about what happens in the war itself and some of Krishna's as well. Especially if we think about the geopolitical situation vis-a-vis Dwarka and, of course, the kingdom there and where the Yadavas are. The Yadavas, they, at this point, even the negotiations are happening for peace, but war is becoming inevitable. There's already tension between, for example, the state of Magadha and Dwarka.
There's the old rivalry of Jarasandha, which sort of started with the killing of Kamsa.
With the killing of Kamsa, yes. And he wants to avenge that. And then there's this, Shalva gets involved in that, and he attacks Dwarika. Of course, Krishna and the Yadavas leave Mathura. They leave Mathura for Dwarika because of this geopolitical situation and the immense power of Magadha nearby in that area. Magadha, we know, even in the time of the Buddha, was a very powerful political center.
Yeah, I actually read somewhere that the total armies of Magadha were greater than the combined armies that fought in the war of Mahabharata. He had a 27 Akshauhini army, and total, I think the 18 Akshauhinis is what fought in the Mahabharata war. 7 from Pandav's side and 11 from the Kaurav's side. So yeah, and did it make sense at that point in time for Krishna to sort of leave Mathura and establish a new city? Or do you think it was just a poetic license that Krishna Dvapayan took?
You know, I think about it as, which in some ways goes back to the theme of what we've been talking about so far. I think of it as part of the strategic approach that Krishna takes. He is now in a place like Dwarika that is actually not as close to a place like Magadha, and that has important strategic benefits. He is not at a place that is as accessible to these other power centers, as it were. So it, in some ways, maybe goes back to this idea of Krishna as a strategist. He doesn't just retreat, but he chooses a place strategically on the coast, like Dwarika. And of course, we know that even in history, that coastal region would have been an important trade center as well, because it's on the coast, and so an important economic hub. So it sort of speaks to his own strategy and maybe how he wanted to position himself. If we're talking about the geopolitics of it, how he wants to position himself against the others.